What's up, YouTube? Already Sunday again. So, as normal, I have my Sunday update. I noticed a little something different about this tank today. Algae on the front glass is gone. I gave that a quick cleanup this morning. You can't... well, I guess you can't even see it. The algae on the back glass is pretty much minimal now. Let's see if I can get it to focus in. There's still a little bit of green spot there. There's a little spot where I just bumped it with the razor and it all comes off really easy. I took one of the LEDs off this afternoon. Finally got around to doing the simple job of just trimming a couple wires since I wired them together. So now it's just sort of sitting there. Yeah, just cut the wires because it doesn't come with plugs attached. So now there's just a 30-watt LED over the 15 gallons instead of 60, which was highly overkill. Notice a bunch of moss here is missing. I trimmed that out today for the 20 long. Today was dose number 6 for Nualgi. As you can see, shrimp are doing great with it. These are fire red cherry shrimp, painted quality. One thing I don't like is how this camera doesn't adjust the ISO very well to pick up the real color of these. They're a nice, deep, really vibrant red. As usual, the moss is still explosive. I actually trimmed some of this down last week and it's already 2 or 3 inches long again in some spots. So I'm sure it won't take any time to fill that spot back in. Also push the sword here down in there a little better. It's not a sword, that is Anubias hostifolia. Almost pulled up those crypts and split them up, but I think I'll just let them grow nice and thick right there. As you can see, there is some cyano starting on the filter. I'll just pull one of those out, give it a hydrogen peroxide dip real quick, rinse it off, and then put it back in. That should take care of that. I'm sure the Nualgi is pulling quite a bit out of those filters. I don't clean them quite as often as I should, but at the same time, as you can see, the shrimp are just going to town on whatever grows on there. Excuse me. So, at the same time, it's not really much of a problem as the shrimp just go to town. Still tons of snails, because it's what this tank does. I haven't really tried to get rid of them either, so yeah, it is what it is. But on to the next tank. We got the 20 long. Today I went through and I had to break up some more of the crypts. That crypt right there I broke that one up into 3 separate plants, and that crypt right there broke up into another 3 plants, which then all got replanted right in this row here. Move the Ammonia gracilis into more direct light over here, so hopefully that it's just doing sort of blah. It's not dying off. It's not really growing where it was. So I think now directly under the LEDs it should get a lot more growth. This rock here, which used to have, well, it still has some of the cyano growing on it. I flipped it over, so now the cyano on that should die off on the other side. The clown psycho likes to live in there, so he'll probably chow that down. And then that moss I took out of the 15-gallon, placed down here, put some number 5 mesh over it, a couple of zip ties to hold it in place until the moss can take hold. And then the Anubias coffee folia I just sort of shoved in there. It refuses to grab onto anything I try to tie it to, so it was a little better there. And some Ammonia gracilis there that I need to replant. Apparently, I got pulled up. Blame the angels. I did pull up this red ocelot, thinking it was about ready to split. It's really close to splitting into 2 plants, but not quite there. So I'll give that a couple more weeks. Another thing I wish this camera really picked up. I know it shows up as a really nice red here, but it is almost purple. It is so red. And I don't dose iron or anything. That is simply the chlorophyll leaving that area because it doesn't need to be, because the LEDs are in intense light. So a plant's natural reaction is to turn red to reflect more of that, as it's being, the chlorophyll's being overwhelmed. But the fish are doing great. I have no algae on the glass at all. I actually am switching to a 2-week water change schedule on this instead of 1 week. Thanks to the Nualgi in here, it's definitely found balance in this tank. Everything's just doing amazing. Fish are doing awesome. Plants are doing great. That male Endler, he's fully grown and maybe a little more than 3/8 of an inch long. It's really funny to watch him chase around these females that are pushing an inch, inch and a quarter. He's actually one of the few endlers that I have left that I used to have them all in the 100-gallon, and I had one spawning that ended up down in the sump filter. And these 3 endlers that I have in here are all out of that spawning. When I redid the sump for the 100 gallons wet dry, they are the ones I was able to save. So hopefully, I've already had 1 breeding in here. None of them seem to survive. Pretty sure they all got eaten. But hopefully, you know, she is getting ready to give birth again, and the other one I know is already pregnant again, because that's what endlers do. So I'm sure at some point I'll end up having more antlers in here. But yeah, the Nualgi is definitely just making this tank explode. Like I said, I don't dose anything in here. There's no CO2, no Excel. Absolutely nothing gets added to this tank except for feeding 3 times a week and Nualgi every 4 days. What? Just because you don't like being on camera. Spoiled brat you are. For you that haven't seen him, this is Jax, my 3-year-old pit bull boxer Malamute mix, and spoiled rotten. And we have the 100-gallon. Just a sec, let me go turn off the kitchen light here. Well, that didn't really help the reflection at all. Did a little reorganization at the top here. I have these PVC dividers, since this is a braceless tank in the middle here. Usually there'd be a plastic brace that goes across, but this is a custom built tank. That was made to not need a center brace, which is sort of a pain in the butt when it comes to putting on glass tops like this, because there's nothing to support them. So I just cut some PVC in half when I originally got these glass tops to fit the span. Shifted this all the way over, and on this side covered it with egg crate, and then cut out to fit a pothos. So and there's a shower corner caddy that sits up against my overflow box here. And there's no substrate in there. I originally started with just a little handful of filter floss to keep smaller fish from getting in there, but have since removed that, so it's just a giant root ball of pothos, which, as you can see, is just gone insane. It started out with like 6 leaves. I actually trimmed, it was almost all the way over to that corner. I trimmed a bunch of it back. Some of it I reused over here, but I trimmed out any unhealthy leaves I saw, any stems that were getting nibbled on from the fish, and just overall cleaned it up. But as for the rest of this tank, excuse my reflection, LEDs casting onto a whitish gray shirt doesn't help much. But fish doing great. That's what they do. There's some diatoms that are up on top of the spray bar there. I don't know if I'll be able to get a picture. You can sort of see the brown of the diatoms on there. The last couple of days I've been working in the tank here and stirred up a lot of stuff out of the sump that the Nualgi's just been attacking, which caused a little bit of a diatom bloom. Everybody's doing great. Got my lace cats somewhere around here. Oh, there's Walter, my red spot puffer. And of course, now I'm doing a video. The Royal Pleco I got last weekend still doesn't want to come out. He's been out and about all day. Even when I was working in the tank, he was sort of curious and watching what I was doing, but now that I want to show him off, he's nowhere to be found. This tank's still zero algae on the glass. Not even the remote. I took a white rag to the front glass earlier, and there wasn't anything that came off. The glass is just perfectly clean. Yep. Where's my... Baker doesn't even want to be on camera either. They're just camera shy jerks today. But holy crap, I'm already at 15 minutes. So, but yeah, that's what I've done today. There's a little update on the Nualgi. It's been dose 6 today. I mean, I can't do anything but recommend it to everybody that's is battling any type of problems. I've been on a few fish pages on Facebook today and seen a few tanks where they said they've tried anything and everything to get hair algae and other problems, where they've scrubbed and changed substrates and done everything they could think of to try to find and locate the problem and get rid of the problem. And I told them, I mean, it's a free trial. You don't even got to pay shipping. You have nothing to lose by trying Nualgi. And even with this tank where there wasn't anything visibly wrong, the fish have colored up more. The tank is crystal clear, aside from tannins in the water, because that's what wood does. I mean, you literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying Nualgi. But this video is going on 17 minutes now, so I better let you guys go. Until next week.